Good morning, second grade.
Good morning.
How are you? Good. Okay, before we get started, I need to see who's new and who's not. Raise your hand if you're new at Oak Hill this year. All right.
You're not new.
Cool. Put your hands down. All right. So for the rest of you, you probably see me in this building, right?
Yes.
Yeah, or you live in my subdivision, or you follow me at church, or you see me somewhere. Some of you see me at Walmart. One of y'all asked me if I work there too. I don't work there too. Thank you. I don't work at Walmart too. But I'm not going to be your teacher today. Is that okay? I'm going to be myself. I'm going to be myself. I'm not going to be your teacher. I don't have keys today. I'm just going to be myself, which is one of my favorite things that I get to do. And for the most part, when I'm teaching, I'm pretty much myself too. You'll just see me a little bit differently because I'm standing in front of a classroom. I'm not standing in front of a classroom today. So I'm just going to be myself. So you guys know me as how you see me today. And you guys are going to find out some things that you didn't know about me before. You guys are in second grade now, so you're going to get a different version than what you got last year if you guys remember this at all. So just because you're here today and you might have seen Boy 101 from last year, it's going to be different today because you're in a different grade. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So today, you're going to get to know the Miss Rebecca before she came Miss Rebecca, because she wasn't always Miss Rebecca. There was a time where I was just Becca or Rebecca, and then there was a lot of people that really didn't know my name at all. And even though you see me walking up here today, I wasn't always walking, and I didn't always look like this. You guys are seeing the after effects of how I've spent my entire life to get here. So I didn't always used to walk like this. I didn't always used to look like this. I walked through the same building just like you. I went to school here just like you're going to school today. But I look different from everyone else. How can I be in the same building and going to school just like you but still be different? That's because I have something called cerebral palsy. That's a really big word, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a big word. It is something that affects my entire life, and I will never be able to get rid of it. I was born with it, and there's nothing that I can do about it. And sometimes in life we have things that we can't control, right? I can't change the fact that I have cerebral palsy because that's all I've ever known, and that's all I've ever known to have. Cerebral palsy is a condition that affects your brain, but it also affects your physical condition. So when I went to school here and when I played on the playground, it didn't look like everyone else. So when I walked through the hallway, my feet at one point were like this, and they used to walk on my toes. Both of my knees would hit each other. And with cerebral palsy, since it affects my brain, it can also affect my balance. So like if I'm standing here, standing on both my feet, right? I can stand for a couple seconds on my right leg. Okay, just like that. But on my left side, it's not going to last as long because my right and my left aren't doing the same thing. I can do one side or I can do the other side. I love it when people actually take the time to read to me because I can comprehend what they're saying. When you guys ask me to read for you and it comes out really choppy, it's because I can't process the words like you. I actually have to read the word. If I don't know the word, then I have to figure out what it's saying because it looks a little bit different. So I have to read the word, then I have to read the rest of the sentence, then I have to read it again, and then I can read it to you. I can't do both at the same time. If you read me a book, then I can tell you everything that you just said and tell you what the story's about. But I can't do both at the same time. If I am doing jumping jacks and PE, my jumping jacks actually come out backwards. I don't understand how that works. Because that shouldn't work, but it does. And for me, that's normal. So it affects how I process things, but it also affects something much greater. And for a lot of kids that have cerebral palsy, you'll see them in a wheelchair. Am I in a wheelchair today?
No.
Nope, not in a wheelchair today. But I've worked my way out of a wheelchair twice. And I've learned how to walk 3 times, and I've had 5 surgeries to get here. So I don't take it for granted that I'm actually able to stand up here with you today, because once upon a time that wasn't going to happen. By the time I was 6 years old, I had over 20 doctors over my one body. And I had already had 2 of the surgeries that I was going to have. So technically I shouldn't be here, and I shouldn't be standing up here like this. But when I walked through the school, nobody took the time to really know why I walked the way that I did. They just knew that I looked differently, and that was it, and there was nothing that I could do to change it. So imagine if I walked through the hallway like this. I don't like your hair. I don't like your jeans. I don't like your eyes. I don't like your hands. And I don't even have a reason why. I just tell you that I don't like something, and that's it. When I came to school, I would walk up to you and really just want to shake your hand, but you wouldn't shake my hand because I look differently. Now you know. But it was just because I look different. That's not fair, is it?
No.
Did I take the time to get to know who you were?
No.
Did I ask you what your name was?
No.
No. The only thing I saw was what was on the outside of you. I didn't take the time to get to know who you were. I didn't take the time to get to know your character or what you could do. I just saw what I saw on the outside, and that was it. So let's take it from my perspective. From my perspective, I already walk funny, and there's nothing that I can do about it. I don't have any friends because they won't take the time to get to know me because I look differently. I get pushed into walls every day, and people think that it's funny, and it's not. I thought that I was a failure because somebody told me that I was. I thought that I was ugly because somebody told me that I was. Doctors told me that I wasn't going to be anything when I grew up, and they were wrong. But I worked hard to get here, and it hurts because surgeries aren't fun. And when you're going to the doctor and they're telling you all these things and nobody's telling you why and you don't understand, it doesn't make it for a very pleasant experience. So the last thing that I needed was for somebody to tell me that I was ugly. I didn't need somebody to tell me that because I already thought that anyway. So I remember going home, and I used to wear braces on my legs, and I'll show you what some of those used to look like in a minute. But I would wear braces on my legs to school wearing jeans because I didn't want anybody to see them. And the one day that I wore shorts to school, it was over 100 degrees and we were outside. And I had braces on, socks, and shoes. Not only is the brace itself hot, but now I have to wear socks that go up to my knees. And I have shoes on that are bigger than my feet, so that didn't make me walk any better. And people thought that it was funny, and it's not funny. Because when I would go home and I would take them off, I would have heat rashes all over my body, just from trying to hide something that I didn't want somebody to see. I cut my hair because I thought that that would make it better. I wore a different type of clothing because I thought that would make it better. Maybe nobody else would notice. And that one day that I just decided to wear shorts to school was one of the worst days that I ever had because everybody finally saw what I was trying to hide. The kids knew that I wore braces, and they knew that I fell easily, but it didn't make it any better. Just because they saw them, they thought that that was their time to make it even harder, so then I got pushed down even more. It wasn't uncommon for me to have Band-Aids all over my body because people thought it was funny, and who cares if she's bleeding or not? I'm not going to take the time to help her back up because I'm the one that pushed her down in the first place. And if I knock your books out of your hand, I'm just going to walk through the hallway and ignore you like you're not even there. So I thought that I was a failure because somebody thought that I was. And then I didn't think that I was beautiful. And everybody kept doing all this stuff. And I would go home and look in the mirror and wonder why. I hated my life because of this. would watch other speakers come in, and nobody came to talk about bullying. And I remember sitting back there in the back, waiting for somebody. And 11 years later, I'm standing here. I hated my life because of what people told me. And it took me forever to make it up. Nobody told me that I was beautiful until I was 12 years old. And she didn't care about what I had or what I didn't have. She just told me that she loved me and that she was going to take the time to make up for what was lost. And it was a soccer coach from my church. And she said that everybody had a diamond inside their hearts. She said she was going to take it out and dust all the dirt off and then help me figure out a way to hold it up to the light so that it could make a rainbow. Because of that one person, I'm able to be a speaker today. I'm able to be a missionary today. I became a writer, and once upon a time, I couldn't even put a pencil in my hand and write my name on the paper. And the doctors told me that I couldn't play any sports, but by the time I was 6 years old, I was on my first soccer team. I wasn't the best player, but I was still on the team. Still on the team. I couldn't run as fast as you, and I fell a lot, and I got out there in my little braces and my shoes and my soccer cleats, and I ran on that field anyway. And when I hear you guys complain about not being able to do your homework, or you can't do this, or you can't do that, please don't tell me that you can't do it until you try first. When you try first, then it makes it easier for me to help. But please don't think that you can't do something before you don't even try it. I don't know what I can do until I try it. That's why I'm able to do what I'm doing now. How do you think that I got to be a speaker? Because when I was 16 years old, I got thrown in front of a crowd of 75 people. No experience whatsoever. Had no idea what I was doing. But at the end, I got a standing ovation, and I came home and I told my mom, when I grow up, I'm going to be a speaker. And that came from a kid that was mute in school, that never said a word. And if you didn't know that I was on your roll in your classroom, you wouldn't even know that I was there in the first place. So how did I get from walking through hallways, thinking that I was nothing, thinking that I wasn't beautiful enough? It was because one person changed my life. One person said something that I waited 12 years to hear. And when I grew up, I decided that I was going to be that person for someone else. Whether I'm speaking in an auditorium, whether I'm speaking in front of a crowd of 200 people, whether I'm walking through a hallway, it doesn't matter. Just because I didn't have a role model doesn't mean I can't become one for someone else. I don't wear braces anymore. I'm not in a wheelchair anymore. And I don't take it for granted that I can do jumping jacks. They might come out backwards, but so what? Does it really matter what kind of clothes I have on?
No.
Does it matter what kind of shoes I have on?
No.
Why? Because you see who I really am. I have on. And you guys didn't know this about me until you got here today. Do you know what kind of friendships you're missing just because you judge what they look like? I wanted to be your friend, but I couldn't because it didn't matter because you didn't like how I looked. And I had wonderful teachers, and I'm thankful to say that 90% of the teachers that I had that changed my life came out of this building. And they ask me sometimes, Rebecca, why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you do something? I said, well, there's a part of me that knew that you were already doing the best that you could. But I also didn't say anything either because I was willing to smile anyway. So if you're a teacher in here today, I want you to understand that you have the ability to change somebody's life. But I also want to challenge you to get to know your kids beyond their grades or beyond their papers. Because I've also had some teachers that just need to retire. And all they saw was the grades on my papers, and they failed me anyway, no matter how much I put into it. When I was in 10th grade, I challenged one of my teachers. I was in English class, and we had to write a paper. And I was willing to do whatever it took to get a passing grade, B. I was one of those people, I wanted a B or an A, I didn't want a C. I was writing a paper, and we had to write 3 different drafts. And this is what I told her. I said, before you mark my paper up with the red pen, can you please read what I actually wrote instead of just writing on the paper and telling me what's wrong with it? I said, I don't mind if you grade my paper, and I don't care if you tell me to fix it. I'll fix it. But before you mark it up with your red pen, can you please read what I'm actually trying to say? Because what made me upset was the fact that she was missing what I was actually writing about. I would ask her what my paper was about, and she didn't know. The only thing she knew how to do was grade my paper. So in the last paper that I wrote for the year, I asked her to read past the misspelled words, the punctuation, and all of that stuff. And when I got my paper back, she looked me in the eye and she said, that's one of the best papers I have ever read out of my entire career. She said, you had some misspelled words, and I know you'll fix those. And you had some really messed up punctuation, but I know you'll fix that. But I finally got the message that you were trying to tell me. And she looked past my grades. And if I got 100 on something, man, that never happened. The first 100 I got on a math test, I cried in the middle of class and ran out of the room because that never happened before. So I want you to look past your grades. And I don't want you to feel like a failure because of your grade. Yes, I want you to try hard. Yes, I want you to do your best. But please don't let that determine who you are. And if you're a teacher, please look past their faces. Because there are still teachers in this building today that have known me my entire life that are just now getting the full story of what really happened. I didn't talk about what my home life was like. I didn't tell them what I went home to every day. You don't know who's walking in this building every day. You see them every day, but you don't know everything that's going on in here. If you're the only person that tells them that you love them and that you give them a hug, that may be the only person that does that in their entire life. You just don't know that. I know you're tired, and I know you get frustrated, and I know teaching's hard. But please get to know your kids past their papers. It meant the world to me when my teacher came to my soccer game. On my birthday. When she actually remembered my birthday and gave me a card. It was just a card, but for me that was like gold. Because nobody knew my name. And the reason I'm able to tell you this story today is because I still remember what happened to me. Are these braces scary?
No.
No. This is my first pair of braces, and I got them when I was 3. They're not scary. They do get bigger as I got older. I had a pair of braces just like these, except one pair had butterflies on them, and the other one had the solar system. And my last pair I wore when I got to 4th grade after my surgery. I don't have to wear them anymore because I had surgery. But this was my very first pair, and I would get up every day and go to pre-K with these on. And these were the things that I tried to hide for over half my life. These aren't scary. They just help me walk better. They just help me walk better. You're going to have things in your life that are scary, but it still makes you a better person. I'm not up here because I'm perfect. I'm not up here because I have the best clothes in the world and the best shoes and the best of everything. I'm here because I finally learned how to walk better. And if I fell down, somebody had to help me get back up. But when you don't have somebody help you get back up, it makes it a lot harder. And you never know when they might change somebody's life. So when I walk down this hallway, this is what I want to see happen. You have a nice dress. You have beautiful eyes. I like the Atlanta Braves, so I'm just going to take that hat. I'm just kidding. I like your glasses. I like your shoes. You have pretty hair. And I like your smile. Every person that I pulled up, I said something positive to. And that may be the only thing that they hear all day long. Was that hard?
No.
No. The words that you say and the things that you do work like these bubbles. Let's say that these bubbles don't exist. Those bubbles don't exist. When I blow these out, can I put them back in?
No.
Nope. The words that you say and the things that you do work like those bubbles. Once you say them, you can't put them back in. The only choice that you have is whether it's good or bad. But either way, they can change somebody's life. It's just the concept of, is it for the better or for the worse? I would not want to be the cause of somebody hating their life, would you?
No.
No. And every day you walk through that building, you have a choice to impact somebody's life or make something better. And you may not ever know what kind of impact you're having. And if you're a teacher here, you never know when you might have a student 11 years later coming up here to talk about you. It's important. I remember every teacher that I had. Every single one of them. It's important. I'm thankful for your time today. And I can't tell you how much it means to me when you call me Miss Rebecca, because once upon a time, nobody knew my name. So to be able to walk in this building and come back like this is so much better than the first time. I asked my mom 2 years ago, I said, I wonder what would happen if I came back. That was before I was a substitute. I didn't intend on becoming a substitute teacher. I came as a volunteer just because I wanted to help and I knew that I needed to serve somewhere. So I came as a volunteer, and just because somebody cared enough about me, again, another teacher in this building, because somebody cared enough about me and set me down and she said, I can't let this go to waste. I'm going to show you how to do this. Please don't be scared. So I took the sub course over the summer and came back. And 2 years ago, I asked my mom what would happen. I never thought it would be something like this, but I know I'm here on purpose. I'm here on a mission, and I'm not just your substitute teacher. And I'm really glad that you guys got to see Rebecca before she became Miss Rebecca. Because it weren't for any of that, I wouldn't be here. That blue folder that you have in your hand, or well, that the teacher has in her hand,